Okay, welcome to our show today, Cheryl Weston, Conversations with Cheryl Weston. And today we're having a special, and I'm really excited about this upcoming event that our guest, Megan Griffiths, will be discussing with us. I attended a pre-conference, a couple of days ago, and I found it very interesting, and I definitely wanted to get Megan in here to discuss with us the possibility of how we can get this information out to others. And hopefully it wasn't too late. So she said she would commit to it. And here she is with us today. And I'm so happy you could get a few minutes out of your very busy schedule, because I know trying to get this conference going, you are going at 110, probably 150. But
Yep.
Thank you so much. And so I just wanted to give the audience a little bit more. We're going to be discussing the Tri-Faith Race, Religion, and Social Justice Conference that will be coming up on Wednesday, June 7th and Thursday, June 8th. And I think if we could begin, if you don't mind, introducing yourself and explaining a little bit about what Tri-Faith Initiative is, because I think there's some people who probably do not know, and it would be helpful to have that information before we go on. So I'm going to give it to you, Megan, if you could do that.
Absolutely. So my name is Megan Griffiths, and I'm the Mission Advancement Coordinator here at Tri-Faith, which basically is a fancy title for being programming coordinator. One of my main responsibilities is coordinating the Race, Religion, and Social Justice Conference, as well as other programming. The mission of the Tri-Faith Initiative is we cultivate inclusive environments to advance interfaith relationships and understanding. And our vision is that we envision a world where differences are honored, similarities built upon, and everyone belongs. The brief history of Tri-Faith is back in 2001, after 9/11, a group from Temple Israel had gone to a local mosque to help kind of stand in solidarity and help basically give protection if needed after the events of 9/11. And some friendships were born. And as the years progressed and Temple Israel was looking for new land to move Temple because they'd outgrown their building, conversations began about, well, what if we had a shared kind of campus with a Jewish partner, a Muslim partner, and a Christian partner. And that's where Tri-Faith was born. And then Tri-Faith Initiative is a separate nonprofit. We're a secular nonprofit, so we are not religious, but we do interfaith education and outreach and just work. Some of our programs are sort of DEI training for local businesses, but also just programming about religious education, religious studies rather than like a theology. Like we're not teaching how to be Christian or Muslim, but just what they generally believe. Also recognizing that not only are there differences between the three, but there are differences within the congregations themselves as well. So like I said, we honor those differences. We're not all trying to agree on everything, but just we can be respectful even in our differences and build friendships and relationships. So that's a little bit.
That like I said, I really didn't know a lot of it about Tri-Faith. I've heard it mentioned several times. I've gone past the location where it's on, I think it's like 32 acres property with all three, and the temple, the mosque, and the Christian. So when I went to your pre-conference, it was like an eye-opening that I do want to attend this and I want to know more about it. And I think there's others out there who are like me who want to know more about what do you stand for and what the purpose. And so when I did some more research on this is going to be the second Tri-Faith conference. And I also want to mention that this is going to be the second with UNO's participation, which I didn't realize that UNO was greatly involved into this.
Yes.
Now, are they, how should I say, involved with just the conference part, or is it an ongoing, continuing, all the time basis? How does that work with UNO?
Yeah, I don't know all the details about the greater partnership, but we are very much involved with and have a longstanding relationship with the UNO Department of Religious Studies in particular, and that's who is the sponsor, founder of the Race, Religion, and Social Justice Conference. Like Dr. Paul Williams, who was, I'm not exactly sure, he was basically the head of the department,
Department
is
of
on the
Religious.
board. I think he's going as the head of the department, and somebody else is coming on for next year. But that's how the conference began. I think my understanding is that Tri-Faith used to be, we had our offices at UNO campus there for a while, because we only opened this building in 2020. I began just last fall in October, so I've only been here for a few months.
But you've been going at full pace all the time.
Yeah, because I actually attended the conference last year just as a member of the public, and was just like, man, this would be such a cool place to work. But what would I do there? And then behold, there eventually was an opening, and it was like, hey, that's perfect. I did not know when I applied the job that I would be running this conference, but it's been a good fit. So yeah, so that's a bit about if there's any other specific questions I can answer, I'm happy to.
Okay, so I also noticed it says that on the flyer, this year's theme is building bridges of hope. And that's something I really truly believe in, is hope. When we don't have hope, which I feel like is a lot of the problems that we have as a society, is because we seem to have lost that hope. It's like, everything is so this way, that way. There's so much confusion. There's no chance of hope. So I did like that theory that the theme is bridges, building those bridges of hope. And I liked how you paraphrased it from your website. It's intentional, confident expectation that social issues can be addressed. They can be overcome. And that's what this whole conference is going to be about, is making that connection across differences, whether it be institutional, whether it be communities, whether it be individual, society. How do you feel like about that? How do you feel that you're putting this conference together? Do you think that that's what you are meeting, the ideal of getting hope out to individuals?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it can be very discouraging, especially as individuals. It can feel like I'm just one person. What can I do?
Yes.
On the very minimum level, basic level, is walking into this conference where right now we already have 260 people registered. That
Fantastic.
You're going to room with that many people. Almost, we're kind of maxed out at 300. We might even surpass it. Just fine. That's great. We just might have to shift some things around, but like going into a room or a conference with that many people to know like you're not alone is one thing. Secondly, it's an opportunity to network, and you hear a speaker and you think like, oh, they're working on this project, I can help with that, or that triggers an idea for me to do something over here. That's something I hope will happen. And then after lunch, we're having a midday panel of local leaders representing different communities, Asian, Black, Muslim, Indigenous. And the theme of it is how the hope is passed, because our keynote speaker is Clint Smith, and his book is How the Word is Passed. And he talks about public memory and public acknowledgements, especially around slavery in the United States. And then our theme being how the hope is, or building bridges of hope. We sort of combine the two. And I hope these leaders will be talking about how they pass on hope, how resiliency is passed on intergenerationally, like from older generations to younger and younger to older, because I think sometimes even today, older generations can feel discouraged, and younger people have the energy and, excitement to pick up those participants and, get people motivated again, because it's easy to lose, and vice versa. Like it's not just one way or another. And so I just hope that people come away with this. And then at the very end, that's the other thing, the last session of the day with Barry Thomas, who's a local DEI leader, he's going to be facilitating a discussion about like what comes next, like what can we do, what are the action steps that people can take to help make a difference and feel motivated and feel like they're doing something and making change.
I think it's great, and you touched on it, is that it's building that bridges too of not just between race and institutions and religion, but also you pointed out that hopefully is trying to get the youth with the elders,
Mhm.
and to see that, we're really not that far apart,
Yeah,
and what each one can give to the other to make things better.
yeah,
And I think if we can get that out, we can help solve a lot of issues that
absolutely.
if we start talking and seeing that, because we all went through that young stage where the older people couldn't tell us anything. And then we found out, oh, we're getting closer to that.
They've
And
done
hey,
it
I guess
before, yeah.
not.
They know what works.
Yeah.
Hopefully
And
young
so
people can say, like, here are some new ways of doing things too. And it should
exactly.
be
And we
mutually
have
exclusive.
to, as older, be willing to take some of those suggestions and
Mhm.
get involved in this is a different way. It doesn't always have to be the same old way. Um, I noticed on the website also that there was going to be these breakout sessions. Can you kind of expound on what are some of those sessions and that people can, become involved with?
Absolutely. So we'll have three blocks of time for breakout
Mhm.
sessions. And within each of those breakout sessions will be 8 speakers, and attendees can choose which session they want to go to. They don't have to sign up or register for any specific one. Just go. And if there's room, go on in. Like I said, we might have to juggle some people around in
Mhm.
terms of seats, but for the most part, there should be just kind of a wide variety of things. I have kind of list here. We have topics on Islamophobia, looking at race, faith, and mental health, interfaith diversity. Ajamal Biden's going to be doing one on religions in Africa before before Christianity and Islam came to Africa. We've got Tri-Faith is going to be doing a section on the doctrine of discovery and religious freedom in the United States. We've
Mhm.
got just let's see, one that's the role of interfaith collaboration to heal our nation's divides, and that is with partnership with the Diocese of Nebraska. One of the staff member for the diocese, Liz Easton, Reverend Liz Easton, has a friend who works for the 92nd Street Y in New York City, and they collaborated on a project where they brought people from New York and took them to Chadron, Nebraska, and had people from different backgrounds and religious, racial, all the things, and then had them just have conversations, and it was really
Yeah.
successful. And it kind of showed that, like, when people just sit in a room together, really good things can happen. And they have a video about that that they'll be sharing. We've got let's see, what else we got? Representatives from AMI are going to be talking about working with Muslim youth. We've got a performance at the end of the last breakout session at 2:30. Bel Canto is a local music duo, and they're going to be performing a work called Sacred Waters. That'll be in the sanctuary for whoever wants to see it. They've got a film that goes with the performance. Got a thing called an atheist and a Christian walk into a nonprofit. So it's 2 friends that work for the same nonprofit, talking about their relationship and how they interact within their faith journeys.
That should be interesting.
Yeah, and how
that should be interesting.
Yeah, and their DEI work together. So yeah, we've got a little bit of everything. And I also just want to say again, with the Tri-Faith, like, our goal is to work with people on however they relate to religion, which does not mean they have to be practicing, because it's part of our culture. It's part of the ocean we swim in. Their religion of some way or another. Even if you don't practice it, you're still in this world. And so we want to welcome people of all or no faith at all. So that's something that we're trying to do. So something for everyone, I hope.
I think so. And then that was one of the things that was in the pre-conference was that it was made up of individuals who are very, very strong. Like one I met who was a nun, still practicing nun, as they say, still in it.
Yeah.
As she said, 50 years or so. But
Wow.
and then you had others who were playing out, nope, I don't, because of certain things that happen in life, but this may be a way to bringing them back and deciding and understanding when we say religion, and does that mean your faith? What does that mean, religion? Because religion can mean different things to different people. And it could be based upon, okay, so I'm this, you don't have to be that, or it's helping to understand, I think, other people's way of having some type of spiritual relationship, whether it be called religion or it's just their faith or their belief. So I think it's great, and looking forward to being able to be participating and involved in this. One of the things I noticed too that you've mentioned is Clint Smith, who's going to be your opening keynote speaker. That's going to be on Wednesday, June 7th at 7 p.m. at Temple Israel. And at the end of our broadcast here, we will have the addresses and the flyer there. That's on Sterling Ridge Drive, 13111 Sterling Ridge Drive, 68144. So everybody wants to put it in their Google map. But now I noticed that it said it was going to be a fireside chat. Now, so is this in-person fireside or is this virtual?
He will be in person.
Okay.
He just didn't want to do a formal keynote address. So he's going to have a discussion with Wendy Goldberg, our director, executive director, talking about his book, How the Word is Passed, and talking about, he wrote an article for The Atlantic a few months ago about going to Germany and visiting and seeing how they sort of reconciled with the Holocaust and how they did public memorials for that, and comparing and contrasting how sort of the lack of here in the United States. And so that was what triggered him as a potential speaker for this conference. And so we were able to get him. And so he'll come and be having that sort of discussion with Wendy. And then in the morning of the conference on Thursday, he's going to do a poetry reading from his new book, Above Ground.
Okay. And at that fireside chat, as we like to call it, will there be a period afterwards for any questions to ask of Mr. Smith? Or
I don't think we're going to have a formal question and answer, but he will be doing a book signing, and so people will be welcome to come through. Bookworm will be there selling books. Anybody who's registered for the conference, unless we run out, will have a free copy of Above Ground.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you register for the whole conference, you get a book.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And so, but then anybody who has registered just for the Clint Smith event would have to purchase a book, but Bookworm will be there with copies, as well as How the Word is Passed, and I think even his other poetry books. The Omaha Public Library will be there having a table to get people registered for library cards and doing custom reading lists. And then the women, not just women, the people of the Tri-Faith campus have provided a dessert bar as well for afterwards. So there will be treats.
All kinds of things here worthwhile to come in and explore. And I have not completed, I had started one of his books, but I haven't gotten it completed, How the Word is Passed. Hopefully maybe by then I'll be able to have it, so I'll feel like, oh, so-and-so and so-and-so you said in your book. And then on the Thursday, that's going to begin at 8 a.m.
That's when registration.
And that's going to be at the Tri-Faith Commons. And I think, is that at the same address? Or
it's a slightly different address.
Yeah,
I don't know that I have it written down.
It's on Faith. I know they say Faith Plaza, but it's within the same vicinity. It's called the Commons.
Yes. Yeah. So the conference itself will be at Countryside Community Church.
And
when you come into Sterling Ridge Drive, you'll go around. There's the mosque, there's the Tri-Faith Center, and then Countryside. And we'll have people directing traffic and parking and things. I don't think you'll miss it. And obviously, if you come to any of the buildings, people will be able to direct you. So that's not a problem. But the conference will be at Countryside Community Church.
Countryside. Okay. That's where it was a little confusing when it said the Commons. And I'm like, okay, is it going to be? So that'll be good. And then we will have, like I say, at the end of this, I'll put up a slide that will show where you can go to your website in case people missed it. But I think the big question is, will you explain the registration? There's still registration available. And also, what about the cost? And what about, I'm sure there's some people who would like to attend, but don't know if they could afford to attend. So could you address that part of it?
Absolutely. Cost should never be a barrier to attending. We have scholarships available, and really just people just need to apply. We don't really filter people out. If you apply, you'll get it. We also have free admission for students. So just show your student ID. If people want to buy tickets and support the work that we're doing, there are 2 tiers of tickets. There's a $50 ticket that's just a sort of general admission, and it includes the Clint Smith event. So whatever people register for, they could do the conference and Clint Smith. There is just a Clint Smith ticket, which I believe is $35, and that's just for the Wednesday evening. And then there's a patron ticket for those that feel financially able to do so. That's $150, and that basically helps support the scholarship pool and just the work that we do. And again, that includes everything. Registration is still open, and really registration will be open the day of. I hope people will register beforehand just to help with the process, because we're going to have, close to 300 people there. So I do ask that people try and register ahead of time, but we will have the ability to get people who walk in the door for both events. And we'll have swag bags for the first, I think, 300 people.
Wow.
Hopefully we use those up.
Well, I tell you, if nothing else, you got to come to get all the food, the conversation,
we'll have
the book, everything.
Countryside has a coffee shop called Common Grounds. They'll be providing coffee. We'll have pastries in the morning for Pettits. We'll have some snacks from Hy-Vee. We'll have 2 food trucks during the lunch hour. People will be asked, to provide their own lunch, but there'll be 2 food trucks available, one of which is Mobile Grace, which is the Table Grace food truck, and they are a pay as you are able model. We'll also have Taste of New Orleans, both of which we'll have meat-free options. I think Table Grace will have a vegan option and gluten-free. And there's just local restaurants that are nearby, and people will have about an hour and a half for lunch. So we have a nice chunk of time for people, and they can also do open house tours of the 3 congregations as well as the Tri-Faith Center. So
great. I can't, they always say, well, okay, there's got to be something to this, but you're making it all sound so good that there's nothing that
I hope so. Yeah, we want it. That's the thing. We don't want it to be, only for academics. We don't want it to be, we want it to be open to everybody, as accessible as possible. We will have ASL interpreters for if people need that. So far we haven't had any requests for that, but they will be available. And then anything else that we can do to accommodate people, if they just let us know ahead of time, we'll do our best to get something, whatever they need. But yeah, we want people to come. So,
and the number to call if people have questions, Megan?
Yeah, I don't even know my own work number, so let me get that for you. I never have to call myself, so
I've done that before.
Right?
I know it's 402-934-92955.
Yep. And then I'm at extension 100, so that's easy to remember. So yeah, just dial that number. And whoever you call at that number, they'll get it to me. You can also email me at mgriffiths, GRIFFITHS @trifaith.org.
Very easy.
Yeah.
And again, I want to make sure that people understand too, if you do need accommodations for an ASL interpreter, if you contact them ahead of time, they're going to try to make that available, because the whole purpose is trying to be inclusive of everyone and not to have any barriers to keep people from attending. And
we have accessible parking, there's elevators, there's single-use restrooms for all genders, like everything that we can think of is we hope to have available. So if there's anything that we haven't thought of, please let us know. So. And next year, if we don't have it this year, we'll have it next year. We just want to do the best we can.
Well, I think you're going to have a great, and I think definitely if you've already reached 260 and you're always going to have a percentage of people who don't call and register, you're going to hit that total. So I think you're going to have a very successful conference. Is there anything else you'd like to add that we haven't covered to encourage people to participate?
Just log in, whichever tier you want to register at, please do. We don't want to have to I don't think we will turn anybody away, but we want everybody, to come and feel welcome. Let's see, there is, we're going to include, when you register, you might not get a email. I think there'll be a confirmation email, but we will be sending out emails in the next few days with all the information beforehand. There's no ticket. We'll have just a check off with names. And
that you can go.
If people register before maybe Monday or Tuesday, we'll have printed name tags. Otherwise, we'll just have some blank ones that people can write their names
Write their
on.
name
So,
on. Okay.
yep.
Well, I think you're trying to do is, as you said, make it inclusive and remove all barriers. So, hey, everybody, it's on you now. So
Yeah.
if you don't try to attend, or you can't make it, and maybe if you can't make the whole thing, maybe
Yeah.
all day or something, it's open. You can go
Yes.
to whichever sessions you want to.
Absolutely.
So we just need to get out and become involved. And I always say, if you don't become involved, then don't complain.
Yeah.
Because here's we got the avenue. And as you said, there's scholarships available, so it's not a financial barrier. Of course, they would love to have some contributions, such as through
Sure,
the
but not required.
but don't let that be the barrier. This is
Exactly.
something important, and this is what we really need at this time. And that's just the only way we're really going to get our society back to being a society of involvement, inclusiveness, diversity, being able to express. It's being able to talk about it without clamming up and saying this is the only way to go. So I want to thank you again for being able to fit this in, because like I said, I know you are very, very busy. I've been in doing conferences. And to do this at this magnitude of it, it's very. So we will make sure that we get this out. And please, those share this information, your Facebook page, Instagram, whatever, because this is very important that it's being done. We need hope, and this is a way to get everyone involved and at least to give a chance to express. You never know what might come out of it. So again, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Cheryl, for helping us get the word out. I appreciate your support.
Hey, like I said, you won me over.
Yeah.
I made that.
Well, next year, if you're interested in doing a breakout session, let me know.
We'll see about that now. We'll see about that. But I think it's a very worthwhile, and I was just happy to be able to like have this little interview with you, because my intentions is, as I said, I'd like to see as many people. I'd like to see you just bust that 300 open, and you'll be like, to say, oh, it's all your fault. We had to.
I hope we have too many people. What a great problem to have. So
that's for sure. Well, you have a great one, and we'll be having you back on and to talk about what's coming up for the next year. And we'll go from there. And there's also always, you're invited, open. If there's something that we can help you get the word out, please let us know. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Cheryl. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.